Action. I'm your host, C. Austin Brown. I want to give a high five, a fist bump, a shout out to all the listeners tuned into this motivational channel. You know, today's subject, we're looking at Boost the Business. And I have a remarkable team with me today. I have James and Bernicia with me. You know, and I want to just talk about their transition from Boost to Business. And Boost to Business, those who served in the military, who had an amazing time in the military, and they made the transition from the military to start an amazing business. And so first of all, James and Bernicia, I want to welcome you to the show. Thank you so much for agreeing to be with me today.
Thank you for having us. I'm just happy to be here. This is awesome.
Thank you so much.
This is good. You know, we're going to be in the woods with, in a minute. But anyway, I want to say that I commend you. I support veterans. I'm definitely still in active duty. But for those who serve, thank you. I appreciate it. Those who serve, I mean, we have like 320 something million people in America, and we still have less than 1% of those who will serve. And so I commend you all for serving, and so thank you so much. Retired Sergeant Major, and then also you as well serving in the Army. But let's just dive into. Let me let you all tell the story. Again, James, Bernicia, how did you? What Bernicia? What inspired you all? Let's start with the question.
Okay.
Joining the military. What inspired you all to even this desire to join the military? When you were younger.
Well, I say for me, my father. So my father served for 25 years. He was in the Army as well.
Wow.
And my grandfather, and he's still with us, who turned 101 years old last month.
Wow.
He's a World War II veteran.
Wow.
And and he's still with us. So that inspired me to join the military, just knowing that my family had that commitment to serve. It's our duty.
Yeah. First, 101 years old.
101.
The genes are running well, I'm telling you. So I'm saying, James, you better get back in shape. You better get it ready. If her grandfather's living to 101, I'm just saying, she may make it. 99 won't do. No, but that's beautiful, though. So your grandfather, Bernicia, just inspired you watching him, and for World War II as well, too, during the time where that was a really serious battle. And then just for him to serve in the doors, in which he also opened for others, like myself and others, just his legacy and his wisdom has impacted.
Right.
So he continued to inspire you even now today.
Even now today. And then my father had several tours in Vietnam.
Wow.
And how he was able to provide for my family being in the military. So I want to always be in that position that if nothing else, I can provide for my family as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Now, James, you also joined the military. How old were you when you joined the military?
I did a year after high school in college, and then ran out of money. So then I joined. So my father is a veteran as well. He did 20 years in the Air Force.
Wow.
He was an Air Force flight aircraft mechanic.
Okay.
So he had an opportunity to serve in Vietnam and Korea and Africa. And in very tumultuous times, obviously. But it provided a really good, comfortable life for my mother and I. But during that process, they got divorced and separated. But as I continued to grow, I had other family members, an uncle on my mom's side and dad's side, that were in the military. So there was always a connection to the military growing up. And again, as I got closer in high school to determine on what to do about college, and I would tell you it was probably more people were saying, hey, there's a way to pay for college is through the military. And I don't know, y'all are too young to remember. But the commercials back then were we could do more before 9 o'clock than most people do all day.
Exactly.
Or be all you can be.
Be all you can be.
That's right. Aim a little high.
Exactly.
Right. That's good.
Aim high, fall short. That was the Air Force motto.
Exactly.
Right, exactly.
But taking all that in consideration, and going to school and really because where I went to school at was within close proximity of where I lived, so at Cal State San Bernardino, it was kind of like going to the 13th grade.
Wow. Sure.
Metaphorically speaking.
Of course.
Because it's kind of the same, some of the same people. A little different environment, but I felt like I wanted to do something different and get away. But you can't get away with empty pockets.
Sure.
So I started talking to a couple of recruiters, and they come and talk to you. And ultimately, I joined the military and had an assignment in Germany, and went from there.
Wow.
So.
Wow, that had to be amazing. So where you are from originally, where you first joined? Where did you join out of, Benicia?
So I went through the MEP station in Raleigh.
Raleigh, North
Carolina.
Carolina. Okay.
Raleigh, North Carolina.
Now that's where you're from as well?
So,
okay.
My long story. So I'm from DC. That's my family.
That's
but
right.
I was born, again, military family. So I was born in St.
Let me pause
Louis.
for a second. DC is in the house. All I'm saying, yes, you got DC in the house. I just want to shout that out real quick. So, okay.
So I was born in St. Louis, Missouri.
Right.
Gas station in Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri.
Yes.
In Fort Leonard Wood. My sister was born in Jersey. My brother was born in Germany.
Okay.
So
wow.
we all kind of like bounced around, but at some point it was like, okay, enough traveling for now.
Yeah.
You know, let's get some roots.
I
So a funny story for me was that when I first went to the MEP station, I was too fat.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
And I said that because
so you were a teenager though. This was a teenager.
I was a teenager. They sent me home because
sure.
I stood on the scale and I was, you know, they did a fat test for my wrist, my hips, and my neck, and I didn't pass.
Sure.
And so I was so excited. Told all my friends, I'm out of here. See you guys
yeah.
later. Left, did all my goodbyes, and I was back home that evening.
Wow. Wow.
Well, that was awkward.
That was very awkward.
Well, no,
That
right?
was very awkward.
Wow.
It's like, wait, I thought you were leaving.
How'd you process that?
It was a shock for me.
Sure.
And I remember drinking so much water because back then you had to, you know, right in front of someone, and I couldn't do that. And so to myself, I said it was all that water I drank.
Right.
And that's why.
Got you.
And so I went home and told everybody I'm back, and it's like, what are you doing back here?
Right.
And then I actually purchased one of those plastic suits.
Yeah, I remember those.
Those plastic suits with the red, yellow.
JB told me when we were not too young. I remember that.
You remember that?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And mind you, I ran track in high school.
Sure.
And so I wasn't like an obese person.
Yeah.
So it was so interesting because of my height that I wasn't able to pass. But I ran around my community, ran around the community, and then, you know, the very next week I went back, and then I was on the bus and I was gone.
That's powerful. You know, Angela Duckworth, I like her. She does this whole piece about grit. She so you already came in with a sense of grit and determination. That, you know, the song come to my mind. Ain't nothing gonna hold me down. Ain't nothing gonna slow me down. No. I got to keep it moving. I'm sorry. Songs in my head, JB. So there was this grit that you had coming in that nobody's gonna tell me no. I'm gonna make sure. Yeah, I'm gonna be determined to get in. So that's awesome. So then you come in the Army. So what was your fields? I know you came in as well. Where did you come? Where did you come into the military out of what state? Where are you from?
So again, I'm from Southern California, West Side, LA.
Right. Okay.
No gang signs.
Yeah, I know, right? Exactly, right? You gonna do the dance?
Exactly.
Hey, that's where the Super Bowl be at.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, so I came in out of Los Angeles, California.
Yeah.
Again, I grew up in what we call the Inland Empire, or the IE in San Bernardino.
Okay.
And so growing up there in Southern California, went through the MEP station there, and then went to basic training, which was in Kentucky, which was a culture shock.
Wow,
to say the least. Growing up in Southern California, and in the fall being in Kentucky, was a unique experience.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, so
various ways. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so I enjoyed that transition.
Right.
But more importantly, I guess
that was an experience.
It allowed me to once again, or to get accustomed to new people.
Yeah.
And you go through, at the time I didn't understand it, but it's group dynamics really.
Mhm.
So every time
Yeah.
you change groups or you change, someone comes into your circle or
Mhm.
goes
Yeah.
out, you go through that group
Absolutely.
development process.
Yeah, that's good.
And so going to basic training is
Yeah.
is a huge group development
Mhm.
aspect of it, and you're learning about different people, you're
Yeah.
thrown in with different cultures, different generations, because you got people that are older, younger,
Yeah.
those that are leading you, so you get this petri dish of opportunity
Sure.
of growth and development. Of course, it always starts with a storming phase,
Mhm. Mhm.
and we definitely went through that aspect of it.
Absolutely.
I think like anyone else that was in the military.
Yeah.
But career field wise, I was a 42 Alpha, which is human
Okay,
resources.
okay.
So initially it
Yeah.
was a 75.
So it's
Bravo.
42 now. So back
It's
in the
40
day,
it was 75 Bravo.
yes, back in the day when you had to spit shine your boots, probably.
Oh, exactly.
Yes, exactly.
It shines.
That's right.
Yeah, we didn't have
That's
the
right.
the cow skin suede boots.
Right, yeah, the
Stuff,
spit shine, put a
yeah.
little sweat
Exactly.
equity in,
Exactly.
keeping them nice.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, okay.
And lots of uniform changes that
Yes.
I've seen over the years from then to now.
Sure,
so that was
sure.
an interesting aspect too.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, the
So
fun part was putting the cardboard in your pants to,
Oh, yeah.
to iron,
To iron it with
Yes,
starch.
It was
Yeah.
starch.
you had to use
Lots
at
of
least
starch.
yeah, at
Lots
least
of
a half
Lots
a
of
can
starch.
because
Lots
you
of
wanted to make sure that the shoes were spit shine and
Absolutely.
that the uniform was nice, razor sharp.
Absolutely.
Edge
Absolutely.
dressing around the heel.
Absolutely, you
Absolutely.
remember that?
Edge
Absolutely,
dressing on your rank.
yeah,
'Cause you had
that's
to have
right.
shiny
You
rank.
had to.
You had to.
Yeah.
Now, B, what was your job?
Certainly
Yeah.
Charlie, finance
Okay.
specialist.
Oh, you were finance.
I was finance.
Oh, is that
She's about
right?
that money.
So she's about that money. That's all right. Show me the money.
Exactly.
Show me the money. Right.
Right.
Well, you know what? You know, cash rules everything around
Cash
you.
rules.
Get the money, baby.
Exactly.
Dollar bill, y'all. See, that's right. That's beautiful, though.
And you know-
So yeah, that was my goodness. That was back in the day.
That was back in
you
the
had
day.
the issue. What you did when they had to issue checks?
Yes,
Oh,
issuing checks.
Right.
Checks,
Yeah.
changes of allotment. You know,
Mm.
it was always interesting when someone got a check
Mm-hmm.
that was reduced
Oh yeah.
because of
wow.
child support or
Yeah,
anything that came down,
Mhm.
and then we would be the ones responsible
Yeah,
for
yeah.
for
Issuing
issuing
that
it.
check.
And they're looking at us like, what's going on here?
Right.
It's like you
Mhm.
need to
They
talk.
irate.
Oh, irate. Why don't
Woo.
you just grab me
Yeah.
and just?
Wow.
But it's nothing that. This
Wow.
is it.
Remember,
This is
remember
it.
that standing in line
Exact- stand
and
in
sign
line.
your name and wait to pop open your check and
Exactly,
get it. Oh my
exactly.
goodness! Wow.
Yeah,
we
and
got
then,
some
and then the
memories.
fun part was like finding you all out in the field to
Mm.
give you your checks
Right.
to do what with? Because you're in the field.
Right.
So why
To lose it.
To lose
Mhm,
it.
exactly.
To then come back to our
Did it
office
take
later.
weeks to get it exactly? Those were some days. My goodness, we got some memories.
Yeah,
We've been in
yeah,
it a
we
long
do.
time.
Yeah, some
Wow,
good stuff.
that's
Good stuff.
amazing.
Yeah.
How do you think the military, the good, the bad, the ugly, even some crucibles, how do you think that help you on in terms of your leadership and developing you as a leader?
Well, I can say that the military taught me how to work with all types of people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, growing up, how I grew up, you know, you have your certain
Yeah,
social class
Sure.
of people that
Yeah.
that's just who you know.
that's who
That's
you
who you
roll
work
with.
with. That's who you roll with.
Yeah.
But the military, it kind of throws you in a melting pot,
Mhm.
and you have to learn how
Yeah.
to work together.
Yeah,
you have
absolutely.
to learn
Yeah.
to, you know, if there's a disagreement, you have to be able to work it out. You have to
Absolutely.
be able to handle different conflicts with different people, you know,
Absolutely.
all over the country. And so it's something that I can say I would not have received
Mhm.
had I not joined the military
Sure.
so quickly. And I think for me, just being able to have different conversations and feel
Mhm.
comfortable.
Yeah.
You meet
Yeah.
people from all over. Like he said, he was in Kentucky
That's-
from California. That's
Kentucky.
That's different.
Yeah.
That's different.
Yeah. Then to Germany.
And then to Germany.
Sure.
And so to have that opportunity to travel the world and
Mhm.
meet different people, it makes you a better leader because you're
Yeah.
able to relate
Absolutely.
to so many different people versus just
Yeah.
your own little
Yeah.
group that you've known all your life.
You know, that's very important too. You know, as clinicians, the first thing we have to try to do is the therapeutic relationship, is to relate to people.
Right.
You know, people want to know, you know, can we connect? And, you know, if we don't connect, people are not trying to go deeper with you.
Exactly.
And so, and that's great that you allow the military experiences to broaden you as a leader, that you're able to relate with a diverse And everybody don't think like you,
That's
look
right.
like you, reason like you, and even if you're from a religious perspective, everyone don't believe like you believe. And so you have to learn how to adjust and be able to welcome all people. That's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
What about you? Now, you've been in a long time. Now, how long did you stay in?
So
I mean, were you back in the day when Moses was a Christian?
So Moses retired.
He did.
5 years right before I joined.
All right. Okay.
No, I spent 25 years
Yeah.
in the Army. And I will tell you, I didn't join the military with the plan of being in
Yeah.
for 25 years.
Sure.
My intent was I'd come in for a little while. We had the GI Bill,
Yeah.
get that,
Yeah.
go back to college.
Yeah.
But I tell you, life happens and different things
It does.
arise. So, it was time well spent. I will tell you, the military helped me mature as a man and as a person. It provided me with some discipline and structure because growing up out of a single family home,
Sure.
there was probably a portion of me that felt like I was already grown and you can't tell me what to do, just from culturally oriented environment. But like you've alluded to and stated before, you have to get accustomed and work with different people that have different backgrounds, religions, thought processes, and everything else. So that was a challenge for me, especially in the beginning. And then I was blessed to have quite a few really great mentors
that's good.
that helped to guide me and put me on the right path, both in the military and personally.
That's good.
And so
That's
I
good.
take that and felt like I wanted to be able to reciprocate that
Sure.
and be able to pass it forward to someone else. And so I've always tried to
That's
take
good.
the things that I've learned or benefited from being in the military to pass that on to others, to help them guide them to be in a better position than they are.
And you both are doing that. You know, we won't go extensively in things how you continue to mentor, but you both are definitely still doing a lot of mentoring and coaching and guiding people and helping people in various ways. And again, I want to commend you all. You know, that we'll use that for another time, another show. But I want so you ended up 25 years retiring as a sergeant major.
Right. So I was a command sergeant major.
Command sergeant major. There's
Yes,
a difference
yes.
between the sergeant major and the command sergeant major. That's right. Notice he said. You catch that?
Exactly.
Slide that in there.
Right, command sergeant major. I caught that. I got you.
You know.
So good.
So everybody doesn't get to read.
That's everybody does not get it. I
Exactly.
understand. But again, I commend you. You know,
Thank you.
Just the mentorship and leadership, and you know how you definitely have paved the way for so many.
Well, it was
Yeah.
it was a pleasure. I will tell you one quick thing. So I was at the Sergeant's Major Academy, and so at that time I was a single parent. My youngest son was with me, and my father came to visit. And again, he was he retired from 20 years in the Air Force.
Wow.
My father retired
Yeah.
as an E5.
Wow.
Right. But back then,
Yeah.
and even
I mean,
while I was
that's-
in,
yeah, well, yeah, that's-
it was just about being in the military.
Yeah, sure. And being
you're
able to
gonna
get the
a
retirement.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he comes to visit, and we're at the Sergeant's Major Academy, and our class, class 54, we had probably 600 sergeants major or master sergeants or sergeants majors that were in the school, and I went there actually as a master sergeant or promoter. I actually wasn't even in the zone for the sergeant major yet. I was in the zone, but I got selected in the secondary zone to go to the academy, and then while I was there, I got picked up for sergeant major, and then got picked up for command sergeant major. So unlike some
that's
back in the day,
that's an incredible journey.
It really
That
is.
really is.
It
That's
was
that's
nice.
a testament
That's a
of.
lot.
That's really a great testament of just your leadership, how you impacted, and how senior leaders what they thought of you too, how you have made a difference and impact people's lives. So that's an incredible accomplishment.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
But for your
And
father,
so for my father, for him to come there and he was just blown away. Even to this day,
Sure.
he talks about how seeing so many African Americans with in what he calls all this rank.
Right.
Because he was just blown away.
Sure.
Because I mean, we had a very large class.
Yeah.
It's about 600 of us, and I'd say 40% had to be about African American.
Wow. Yeah.
And so for him, he was just amazed at it. All my, I had really good friends there that I went to class with. But from the time that he spent in the military, the time that I spent, the transition of opportunities that presented itself to today, that the opportunities that present itself, I think we are continuing. Sometimes we look at life and it seems like we're no better than we were 200 years ago, but we are making progress, and we have to appreciate that as much as continue to strive for future betterment as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of being able to see the transition of how where individuals came from years ago and now moving forward, now you all are making some amazing strides today. As you transition from the military, and now you transition from there into business.
Yes.
And so I want to tell me about how you are transition from the military and into business. What sparked your interest when you were leaving the military to say, hey, I want to go into business, and not only going into business for someone else, but you wanted to go into business for yourself. And how was that? What was that like? Tell me about that.
Well, actually, it was a road.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna fast forward to the part where, and he knows the story where I had a job.
Okay.
I had a job. I was working at the Watergate.
Okay.
And at that point, I was doing everything right.
Yeah.
I stayed late. I even trained my supervisor who, came in, trained, did nothing wrong. And I was invited to an amazing lunch.
Okay.
And during that amazing lunch, I was fired.
Wow.
And then, and that was a feeling that I had, like, and I said, you're firing me? And she's like, no, I'm not firing you. I'm just letting you go. And I said, that's firing me. And
not firing you, I'm just letting you go. Yeah, that's
interesting. And the purpose was because her words, she wanted to start a new regime. And she felt that the managers at the time kept coming to me for answers. And she wanted the managers to come directly to her. So after my 90 days of training her, that would be the situation. Now, they gave me a lovely stipend.
Severance package.
Lovely severance package. I mean, they paid me for, it's supposed to be 3 months, but it actually ended up being 4. Gave me a 2-page, lovely, glowing letter of recommendation.
Oh, wonderful.
That was nice.
Yeah.
I put that on my wall, and I said I would never work for someone else again.
Okay.
And I would then start a business of some sort.
Sure.
Of some sort.
Yeah.
I mean, the military gave me the tools. I knew how to travel.
That's good.
I can do this. And so I did.
What was that like for you then?
It was scary.
Yeah, sure.
It was scary.
Sure.
Because my situation I had then was, I mean, I had a car note.
Yeah, sure.
I had insurance, housing. So to know that the money that I had coming in was going to stop at a finite point because I didn't have another job lined up, it was like, okay, we have to really make this work.
Yeah.
So in starting real estate, because I'm fast forwarding to real estate, I worked with Coldwell Banker for several years, and then decided, okay, I want to start my own.
That's good.
I talked to many people who had broker's license, but they were still working for the big companies like Coldwell Banker, Keller Williams, and so they thought to even start a brokerage firm here in Hawaii was just crazy. Don't do it.
Sure.
Stay with Coldwell Banker.
Sure.
But that wasn't the path.
Yeah.
And so went through some learning curves because it was interesting, looking like me, starting a business.
Meaning, like, first of all, there are 3 challenges I can see now, Benicia. Number 1, being a woman.
Being a woman.
Right. Number 2, being an African American woman. And number 3 is Hawaii. There is long money comes with being in Hawaii.
Yes.
That there is already a set group of individuals who are realtors that's connected.
Correct.
And so you're an outsider.
Right.
Yes.
Exactly.
Coming in. So what's that like?
With all this DC flair.
Right, exactly. So the outside DC, DC, we got a little swag.
Exactly.
We gonna make it do what it do.
Exactly.
Right. So what was that like then? I mean, even now, trying to transition into that.
Those
waters.
It was definitely interesting, but I have to say, thankfully, being a part of the Divine Nine. I had my sorority sisters and members of Omega Psi Phi and the Alphas that really decided to make sure that I had that kickstart. So when it came to them purchasing properties,
Yes.
they came to us. So that definitely
Absolutely.
helped. And,
Right.
you know, and I can't thank
Right.
them enough for that. And just continue
Yeah.
to grind. I mean, it was
Sure.
just a constant grind. Whereas
Yeah.
some people just had business given to them on a regular basis.
Yeah.
That just
Yeah.
wasn't the case with us. We had to
Yeah.
go out there and make it work.
And make
so,
it work.
So 7 days
Sure.
a week was just 7 days a week.
And you did it.
Yeah.
I want to give a shout out to the Divine Nine. If you want to pop up the size now, go ahead.
Hey.
There it is to the
Divine.
Divine. That's right. And those who don't know, Divine, just it's an opportunity, the brotherhood or sisterhood, to connect, to build others up, and leave no one behind. And that's what it's about: mentoring, coaching, and training, and making sure no one is left behind. And so that's amazing. So they just came out the woodworks and just to support you to make sure that you would not fail.
Correct.
Wow,
Correct.
that's amazing. That's incredible. Now, JB, you also, as you transition out of the military, retired as a CSM, Command Sergeant Major. That's right. That's
I
right.
did Sergeant Major.
That's-
Command Sergeant Major.
Oh, you're too kind.
No, but so transitioning out. So you also now, I mean, you know, you're partnering with the First Lady, you know, and you all building it together. But you also continue working as well. So how did you make that transition out and into the business world?
So great question.
Yeah.
So my path was a little different.
Yeah.
I had time to determine what I wanted to do over the career, but what the military doesn't do, I guess, necessarily well is kind of what it does now. But and that's program you for something outside of it.
Sure.
And the reason why I say that is because every time in the military, and you've all experienced this, is that when you leave your position,
Sure. Yeah.
your next position is already set.
Sure.
You've got someone on the other side that's sponsoring you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They are providing
Yeah.
you. They're going to help you transition by getting your stuff packed up.
Yeah.
Move to that next
That's that
location.
military life. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
In the civilian sector, that's not, or in the private sector, that's not necessarily the case.
Right.
And it is not as well oiled as it is with the military. So I said that to say the transition felt where I've been accustomed to
Yeah.
that, support,
Yeah.
and especially the more senior you are in the
Sure,
military,
sure.
the more support that you have sometimes.
Mhm.
And what transitions after that is, I equate it to walking out of a large gate
Right.
and then hearing it slam and turn around and say,
And you can't go back in.
yeah, you
That's
can't
right.
go back to it.
That's
So
right.
all the
Yeah.
benefits and everything that you were accustomed to are inside there, but now you need to figure the stuff
Yeah,
out. and
absolutely.
appreciate your service.
Thank you.
Yeah.
no. We like thank you for coming out. God bless you. Good
Good
night.
night.
Exactly.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
but as I prepared to transition out, I felt, again, I came here as a single parent, and that was on the backside of my son, going to, me deploying, sending him to his mom to stay, me coming back, and then him coming back to me. So him transitioning a lot in short spans of time, and so we came here to Hawaii.
Sure.
And once I got here, I realized, wow, this is a great place to settle down and let him continue his, maturation to develop and finish his schooling, as opposed to moving around if I stay any longer. And so I had, again, someone I consider a good mentor. Her name was Linda Keller.
Sure.
And she was the deputy garrison commander here for Oahu. We had a support battalion.
Wow.
And she said, you ever think about what you're going to do when you get out? And I
Sure.
went, well, kind of, not really, no. She said, you would be really good at this,
Wow.
this, and this, and you should consider. She helped me develop my, resume,
The resume and
and
everything.
get myself
Wow.
situated. And when they have those stories of people who said that they were in the military on Friday and they were in a
Mhm.
civilian job on Monday, I am literally an
That's
example
one
of
of-
that.
that's one of your-
I'm
yes.
one of those people who was blessed
Yeah.
to have that opportunity. So
Yeah.
I transitioned from the military straight into a civilian job opportunity and did that, and then ran into an even better opportunity when Ms. Bernicier,
Bernicier. Yes.
blessed me with her
Yeah.
presence.
Sure,
So, and part of that was I've owned properties somewhere else
Yeah.
before in other places. I've had good property managers and bad ones. And one of the things for me was I wanted to provide that kind of really good property management support to people where I felt that I saw it lacking in other places.
That's awesome.
Especially
That's awesome.
targeting those that have been in the military, because I understand that lifestyle of transitioning and having homes in multiple places and being a owner who's not around. So
Yeah, sure.
you're trusting someone to take care of your property.
Absolutely.
And so we take that onus on personally to make
Yeah.
sure we do that. So those are two things that really kind of shaped one to work in the public sector
Sure,
as a
sure.
GS employee,
Yeah.
but then also in the private sector
Yeah.
for Hawaii Premier Home.
That's awesome. I'm gonna pause for a second, and we're gonna just take a minute, take a break. We're gonna come back. I just want you to stay paused for a second. We're gonna get back. We're gonna go to part 2. Stay right here. This is Dreams in Action. I'm your host, Seosin Brown. Stay tuned.
This is fun. Let's do this every week.